Thank you for joining me on a new video. In this video, I want to go ahead and update a couple of videos that I've done previously and combine them into one video here. Previously, I had provided tutorials or instructions on how to switch discs inside of a PlayStation 1 Classic game, as well as switch controller ports inside of a PlayStation Classic game on the PlayStation Vita. In this video, I'm going to update the instructions as Sony has updated the software long since then to have the way you go about switching your discs and controller ports in a different way. Previously, on the earlier versions of this system software, to be able to switch your controller ports as well as your discs, you would hold down the touchscreen to be able to get the option to change discs as well as change your ports for the controllers. Since it was on an earlier build of the PlayStation Vita operating system, additionally, the instructions that I did on those particular videos were on the original OLED model of the PlayStation Vita. I am also currently working on the slim model of the Vita to do these instructions. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and proceed here. I'm using Final Fantasy VIII as the test subject here for this tutorial. The reason why I'm choosing Final Fantasy VIII is because, as you can see, there's up to 4 discs that you can use for this particular game. Do the tutorial for switching discs. I went ahead and loaded into disc 4, which, as you can see, automatically loaded up into disc 4 through the save because I previously had the game set to disc 4 previously. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to completely close out of the Final Fantasy VIII app and relaunch it as a way to reset. There's a way to reset the game software-wise, but what I'm doing here is I'm just going back in and doing a hard reset of the game to kind of show you how to load from the saved load from scratch. And from there, we'll go ahead and wait until it loads, and then I'll show you the way to get the options to switch controller ports as well as switching discs on PlayStation 1 Classics for the PlayStation Vita. Alright, here we're going to be able to get back to the title screen so that way we can get the option to load a saved file. So I'm going to go ahead and load into the Disk 2 save file since we're currently on Disk 4. And you'll see the option to please enter Disk 2. So what you want to do is hold down the PlayStation button, which is the little PS button at the bottom left side of your PlayStation Vita. Here you get multiple options for settings, brightness, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and your microphone. So you'll want to click on settings at the top, and then you get the options for switch discs at the very top. And since this game has 4 discs, you can switch to 1, 2, 3, or 4. You also get settings to be able to assign the buttons as standard or custom. You can assign buttons to your touchscreen, and you can use any of the buttons here, such as the X, circle, triangle, square. I like to have my X at the bottom right, just so that way it's easy for me to hit the X button for certain games, instead of having to move it all the way to the button pad at the right. I just set my L2, R2 for the top left and top right of the screen, but you also get the option here to assign controllers, which is the second option from bottom. You can also assign your physical buttons to the back touchpad. With that being said, we'll go ahead and go over to memory card utility. You can switch between different memory cards on your system, as each game gives you 2 different memory cards for each game. You can adjust the screen size to a custom size, full screen size, or different other options here. With that being said, we'll go ahead and go over to switch to Disk 2 per the request on the save file here. And when you hit 2, it clears the settings and automatically launches into Disk 2 for you. With that being said, there's the game. As you can see, you can go ahead and run around and do whatever you need to do now that the save file is loaded. Thank you for joining me on this video. If you liked it, go ahead and do a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe. If you have any other suggestions that you'd like from me here, go ahead and put them in the comments if you want me to do any other tutorial. Thank you for watching. Deuces, my juices.